The New England Patriots are terrible. They're just bad. It's really, really hard to watch as a fan. Coming into this season, I had some optimism about this team. You know, you had some pickups here or there. Nothing too flashy, but stuff that you would think would at least help progress your team in the right direction. But somehow, some way, it feels like the Patriots are moving backwards. I really don't know how much more of this I can take. I thought they were going to come in and at least be a 500 team, but honestly, at this point, they'd be lucky to win 3 games this year. This week's game against the New Orleans Saints probably couldn't have gone any worse. It was their second worst loss under the Bill Belichick era, which means, yes, they followed up their worst loss in the Bill Belichick era by their second worst loss in back-to-back weeks. They got clapped by the Saints, who in themselves have had a pretty questionable offense these past couple weeks. They got shut out 34-0 at home. It was just a complete and utter embarrassment. Mac Jones had another lackluster week, as did the offensive line, and eventually, for the second week in a row, Mac Jones was benched for Bailey Zappi. It was just another bad week for Mac Jones. He went 12 of 22, 110 yards, and 2 interceptions. One of those going for a pick 6. So that means he's thrown 2 pick 6s in the past week. Something I saw on Twitter that I feel like I should mention here, and this is an incredibly sad statistic. Mac Jones has already thrown as many pick 6s at Gillette as Tom Brady threw over his entire career with the Patriots. It took Mac Jones 3 seasons to throw as many interceptions as Tom Brady in New England. Now back to this game. This game was terrible the whole way through. The first half was nothing short of an embarrassment for the New England Patriots. The pick 6 started the scoring for the Saints, but then Alvin Kamara scored and so did Chris Olave, so they went into the half up 21-0 on the Patriots. At that point, I was already pretty damn defeated. I didn't think that they were going to win this game, but you had to at least believe that they were going to come out of the half and adjust something to at least start to put up some points on the board, and that didn't happen. The only other scoring out of the half was, of course, the Saints. Foster Moreau had a touchdown and then 2 more field goals in the second half for a terrible, depressing 34-0 loss. This is a game that I really do feel like is a turning point for this team. Mac Jones was already under questions of whether or not he can be a reliable starter in the NFL, and it just does not look good for him. Granted, I think a lot more things are wrong with this team than just Mac Jones, but I'll get back to that later. But still, man, this was an embarrassing loss in every single way, and frankly, it really wasn't much better the week before either. Like I previously mentioned, the Patriots today had their second worst loss under the Bill Belichick era, their worst loss coming against the Cowboys last week. It was an ugly 38-3 loss to the Cowboys, and again, Mac Jones was absolutely putrid. 12 of 21, 150 yards, and 2 interceptions. He just hasn't looked good over these past couple weeks, and frankly, not really that much this season. He's come up short consistently, and at some point, you gotta take a step back and wonder, is he the problem? A lot of people will say yes, even I'm at this point where I say probably yes, but they've been bad. They're now 1-4 and the worst team in the AFC East. They really only won a single game over the Jets, but they seem to beat no matter how bad the team is. They barely squeezed by the Jets, by the way, too, 15-10 with Zach Wilson behind center, who did look good in his last game, but did not look good in this game. But before these last 3 weeks, the Patriots looked like a somewhat competent football team. In the first 2 weeks, New England lost to some solid teams, the Eagles and the Dolphins, but they kept it pretty damn close. They barely lost to the Eagles in week 1, 25-20. They just couldn't cap off a game-winning drive. And then again, they barely lost to a really, really good Dolphins team, 24-17 in week 2. Even at 0-2 to start the season, they've been playing some pretty solid football, to the point where it kind of felt like they were underrated, and at some point you felt like something was gonna just click and they were just gonna start humming, but that hasn't been the case. If anything, they've gotten significantly worse. Now, injuries have absolutely derailed this team, there's no doubt about it, but even without the injuries, this just isn't that good of a football team, and that's what everybody said in the offseason. They don't have enough pieces to really win in this league. This is a quarterback first league, and Mac Jones, simply put, isn't at the top end of quarterback talent. He's not going to be able to will your team to a win. If everything's perfect around Mac Jones, he can be a serviceable quarterback and take your team to the playoffs. He's shown shown that before. But let's be honest here, nothing is perfect in New England. And because of that, he's really struggled, and the Patriots have been atrocious to watch. Losing to a really good Dallas team hurt, but it still wasn't that crazy. Dallas is one of those teams that people view right now as one of the top teams in the league. So while that was a pretty damn ugly loss, it didn't hurt too much losing to a team that good. But losing that bad to the fucking New Orleans Saints is disgraceful. It's unforgivable how bad you just lost to a team who, coming into this week, had a lot of questions about how productive, or rather should I say unproductive, their offense has been. But let me tell you one thing, Derek Carr looked like OG Derek Carr in this game, and the Saints offense looked pretty damn good against this really banged up New England defense. I could rant on and on about how much I hated these past few games, but long story short, something has to change. Even if that is a change at quarterback. Mac Jones is having a bad season. I thought it was going to be a bounce back season for him. You got Bill O'Brien in the building, you got Juju Smith-Schuster signed to a contract. You at least had somewhat of an improved offense, at least from an outside perspective, but it hasn't looked like that at all. Mac Jones is having a bad year. He's thrown for 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He's not taking care of the ball. He's making reckless rookie-like mistakes. And after coming off of a disappointing year last year, he's already on a short leash. But when I look at Mac and all of his struggles, it's hard to just put all of the blame on him. Yes, he's having a bad season. He's not making good decisions, and he is to a point losing these games for the Patriots. But the Patriots offense all the way around is a bad unit. The offensive line has a ton of injuries week in and week out. It is not a consistent unit. It's not a good unit. Any defensive pass rush in the league is getting to Mac, and Mac Jones might be the worst quarterback I've ever seen in the NFL under pressure. If you blow the wrong way on Mac Jones when he's behind center, he's going to throw an interception. He is that bad when any type of adversity faces him in the pocket. It's gotten to the point where I truly believe that the only way Mac Jones succeeds in this NFL is if he has the best of the best offensive line and is given 5 to 10 seconds to read the entire field. I consistently come to the defense of Mac Jones because I see how bad everything else is around him. But then you get rookies in the league like freaking CJ Stroud who look pro ready and look already more composed than Mac Jones looks in year one. And because Mac Jones has struggled so much and the passing game hasn't really gotten going, the run game has struggled a lot because of it. Ramondre Stevenson has not been the same back that he was in recent years. Granted, the offensive line hasn't been the same unit it was last year either, but Ramondre Stevenson only had 30 yards against Dallas and only 24 against the Saints. For a team like the Patriots, who does rely heavily on their run attack because their passing attack is so lackluster, you can't be getting those numbers out of your number one back. Then you have Ezekiel Elliott, but he's not the guy that you need coming in there getting you 100 yards per game. He's the guy that's going to get you the extra yard or two that you need when you're on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. But even he hasn't been playing that well. This offensive line is garbage. It hurts Mac Jones, it hurts the run game, it hurts everything. But even with how bad the offensive line is, a good team would figure out ways to win. And this just isn't that good of a team. It's not a good team. It really does feel like the Patriots just haven't been able to figure anything out post Tom Brady. For a while there, the whole, was it Belichick or Brady debate felt kind of dumb. It felt like that success really stemmed from both of them, but the longer and longer we go from that duo, it really feels like it was Tom Brady carrying that duo. Bill Belichick has struggled a lot post Tom Brady, and honestly, it's getting to the point where his seat's getting a little bit hot. And frankly, it should be. I know before this season started, I said give him a season, give Mac a season, but after 2 losses like that, it's hard to see them bouncing back and doing anything for the rest of this season that's going to change my mind. So at this point, it's really just the question of how much patience does Robert Kraft have with Bill Belichick. I get it, you had so much success with him as your head coach. So many Super Bowl rings that I was alive for that I freaking love. Bill Belichick gave me so many fond memories as a sports fan, especially as a New England fan. But it's to that point, you gotta start pointing the finger somewhere. And it starts at the top. Now, I don't know if removing Bill Belichick would solve the problem, but this is just my thing. Every other team in the NFL, barring a couple teams that really don't know what they're doing, build their team with the best players possible to get the best result. Bill Belichick has consistently, throughout his entire career, consistently not put the best people on the field and just gotten by because your quarterback was Tom Brady. Tom Brady is no longer on this team. Tom Brady is not walking through that door. And it feels kind of ludicrous at this point that the Patriots aren't doing everything that they can to spend as much money as possible on free agents or other players to help improve their team. Bill Belichick, for some reason, still has this belief that, oh, we'll get by doing what we can with what we got. And that simply just is not working. You don't put the best players on the field, you're not going to get the best result. And Bill Belichick is just not doing the right things, whether it's from a GM standpoint or from a coaching standpoint. I want to believe in Mac Jones. I want to see him succeed. I freaking have his jersey in my closet. I bought it after his rookie season, and now it's like, okay, Mac Jones might not have it. And week after week after watching it, it really doesn't feel like he has it. He feels like a very mediocre quarterback that can make plays when everything's perfect, but like I said before, this New England team is far from perfect. There's a lot for this team to figure out. Bill Belichick is no doubt on the hot seat, in my opinion. I don't really know how much longer he lasts. It feels really difficult to imagine a world where the Patriots ask him to leave, but if they continue to lose and they're actually in the running for Caleb Williams or like the first overall pick, you gotta imagine Robert Kraft isn't gonna keep doing the same thing over and over. At some point, you gotta part ways. I know Bill Belichick is a great coach, but man, nothing's working right now.